tap between the New England Patriots and the New York Giants.
I didn't do this in college, but I did it in high school. When you return kicks and you lose it yourself, the panic that goes through you and the determination to get the ball back, I don't even know how to describe it. And I think we just saw an example there.
Yeah, and the relief when you get it back like he did.
Yeah, you go to the sidelines, you know you're going to get yelled at, but you can handle it because you got the ball back.
As the offensive starters pop up on your screen, Charles, let me ask you, Chris Hogan, what does he bring to this offense?
A guy that you look at and really don't circle in your game plan. There's other guys that you look at, then you realize this guy can do damage. Finds his way open on almost every snap.
Gronkowski may have had to miss a Super Bowl with the injury, but he was active in that parade, and now he's back on the field. And I'll tell you what, something you mentioned to me is that he was a big cheerleader for his teammates, never hung his head through the injury, celebrated with him all the way through the title.
We've seen superstars in the past, when their team does well without them, they're happy, but they recede into the background, right? They get out of the way because it does hurt them a little bit. They do have pride. They want to feel like, hey, without me, they may take a little bit of a step back. But with Gronk, you never saw that. You saw him with him every step of the way, cheering his team on, happy for their success. They went 11-0 without him in 2016, but I know this, they don't want to try it again.
No,
they want the big fella back.
5 yards on the carry. Good pickup on first down. Charles, from the Giants defense here, looking forward to next season, what do they need to improve and where are they solid?
I think that they'll want to continue to get better at the linebacker position. I think they want to add another pass rusher because Olivier Vernon, who was a free agent pickup in 2016, did a tremendous job coming off the edge. I thought they really shored up the interior with Damon Harrison, a defensive tackle. Landon Collins played at an MVP level on the defensive side of the ball as safety, and Janoris Jenkins became an eraser out on the corner.
They couldn't get anything going there out on the right side of the flat of the swing pass.
And didn't we have a discussion with their staff about wanting to get the backs more involved in the passing game? Huge emphasis for this game, but obviously the defense had other plans and really made a nice play.
And he's got the first down as he's up to the 45-yard line. Ah, yes, Brady to Gronk. You think these two are in sync?
Without a doubt. And look, they both understand what they can do for each other. Gronk knows if he gets open, the ball's going to be there. And Tom Brady knows what a great security blanket Gronk is. When all else fails, you find Big 87. And LeGarrette Blount just does not go down easy. You know, from my experience as a defensive back, this was a difficult guy to try and tackle because of the force that he runs with, and he's not going to be daunted no matter it's the first quarter or the fourth quarter, Brandon.
Well, what shocks me about last year, 18 touchdowns. I mean, the yards were pretty good, 1161. But when I think of New England, I don't think of a running back getting 18 touchdowns.
Yeah, that to me, it was the combo that made the 2016 season for him. Most yards in his career, most touchdowns in his career by far. And he's the type of guy that, hey, you want to give it to me inside the 5? He doesn't believe anyone's going to stop him.
On 1st and 10, here's Brady. And the tip there altered the ball flight, and it falls incomplete. It'll be second down.
Well, we're not playing 3 yards in a cloud of dust football anymore. I kind of get why those old school coaches sometimes didn't want to throw the football. Because if it's popped up in the air, it almost turns into slow motion, and both sides trying to get to the football, and you're holding your breath wondering whether it's going to go good or bad for your team.
And how about this first drive? They're being aggressive, slinging it around.
Really confident, too, because they're not trying to fool them with running plays, throwing it, and they're being very successful right now.
And a really long drive here, and it goes on and on. They'll run it now out of the gun. And he is going to lose yardage here. That's going to go as a loss of a yard, and it'll be second down.
But when it comes to the running game, the New England Patriots, they're one of the few teams in the NFL that I don't think care much about balancing things out.
Last year, to your point, 5th in passing yardage, number 30 in the run game.
What they want to do each and every week is make a game plan based on their opponent, not so much their own personnel, and they try to attack that way. Pretty nice coverage there, but a missed opportunity for an interception. Let's face it, a lot of these defenders, they've got it all. Speed, athleticism, hands, a little bit questionable.
Throwing now is Brady. Slant route, caught by Edelman. Last year for Edelman, just below 100 receptions, 98, over 1,100 yards, 3 touchdowns. And, you know, this is a guy that gets a lot of pub for being that perfect receiver for Tom Brady and the New England Patriots. What's his role going forward?
I think his role going forward is to be a bona fide #1 receiver in the NFL, meaning he's not just a Tom Brady receiver. He's that guy for anyone. And he spent so much time proving himself as he got into the league, just what you were talking about. Can I have a role here with New England? Now it's not just proving himself. It's continuing to develop in his craft. And I think he's going to just keep getting better and better. He never gave up on himself in his dreams, and he doesn't give up on any single play.
Here's the former 7th-round pick, Rashad Jennings. It's a loss of a yard there, and now 2nd down. Alongside Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin, and it's the Giants with the football here as we begin quarter number 2, but they face a 2nd and long to start things out. Manning to throw on 2nd down. Cruz has it over the middle. 4 yards on the completion, and it sets up a 3rd down. And ready for 3rd and 6. Throwing is Manning on 3rd down. Looking for his receiver, sharp, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Eric Rowe. Here come the Patriots again on offense, the Super Bowl champions, and boy, they have been able to do it a lot of times, Charles, with unsung heroes, haven't they? Look at the names that led them through the playoffs. Hogan, White, Lewis, guys you just wouldn't think of.
Yeah, Deion Lewis, a 5th-round pick, 3 touchdowns against Houston in the divisional round. Chris Hogan, undrafted. He ends up having 180 yards in receptions, including 5 plays of 20 yards or more against the Pittsburgh Steelers. And how about James White, a 4th-round pick out of Wisconsin? Think about who he played behind while he was at Wisconsin, and he turns out to be the unsung hero of the Super Bowl. Would have been the MVP if it wasn't for Tom Brady.
And you mentioned James White at Wisconsin. He was behind who? Melvin Gordon and Monte Ball, right?
That's correct.
So they've been unable to capitalize on a great field position as of yet. Here's 3rd and 9. On play action, now Brady. And it falls incomplete after almost being intercepted. A pick there would have been great. The good news for the defense now, it's 4th down. Gostkowski now for the Pats field goal try. From the left hash, this from 46. And his kick is absolutely perfect. And the Patriots jump out to a 3-0 lead. So after the pick, they can't capitalize for 6, but they do get 3.
And I know in this situation, most of us wanted to focus on the offense. You know what side of the ball I played on. Let's give that defense a lot of credit. Taking over in a sudden change situation and shutting them down.
Oh, look at the juke. And New York set to take the field. And following the interception, just any interception, are you a little bit more cautious when you start that next drive, or no, you just throw that out the window?
I think you are. I don't think that there's any way you can run back out there and go, totally didn't affect me. Let's just go ahead and be loose with the football again. You're going to take care of it, but you have to be careful about being too cautious because now you can't run any offense at all.
Still want to attack. We'll see how they attack them here. Little lull in the action here to go over an offseason storyline that's kind of interesting. L.A. a couple years ago, they have no teams, and now they're going to have 2 with the move from San Diego to L.A. What does that mean for the league and for the Chargers?
It seems like an easier transition, doesn't it, than St. Louis when they moved back to Los Angeles.
Less culture shock.
Less culture shock, less, obviously geography, the whole deal. But it's a transition that still is not going to be easy. Remember, they're going to go play in a soccer stadium, essentially, for at least the first couple of years before they share a stadium with the Rams. So that changes things. Obviously, trying to create an identity in the market they haven't been in a long time. They began as the Los Angeles Chargers, but only played 1 season as such.
And now the passing game here in the second quarter starting to heat up a little bit.
Don't you feel the rhythm starting to happen, right? You see it now. The confidence is starting to rise. I think now as a play caller, because that has happened, you lean on it a little bit more. You don't go totally away from running the football, but you do say, guess what? We can throw it. We can throw it well with a whole lot of confidence.
Here's Jennings. He'll get it to the 23-yard line. 8 yards on the pickup, and now they'll have some options on second and short.
Some runs are blocked so well, you almost forget that someone has to carry the ball to gain the yardage. The leverage by the offensive line to create space up front, really well done.
Here's a nugget, Charles, on OBJ. This year he had 101 catches, now 288 for his first 3 years in the league. That ties him with his former LSU teammate, Jarvis Landry, for most catches for a receiver in their first 3 years in the NFL.
And just think about it this way. LSU is known as a running back factory as well. So wide receivers coming into the league and doing the damage they're doing, absolutely incredible. But I do know this. OBJ will tease his former teammate and say, don't forget, we're tied, but I missed a few games my rookie year. If I'd played those games, I'd be way ahead of you.
Out to the flat. That's complete to his running back. Give him 8 on the play, and all of a sudden here, it's third down. And at his size, he's a smaller back. You can get him the football. He can kind of get lost, make someone miss. It's good for him.
Yeah, it's great for him. I like what you said there. Sometimes he gets lost in the traffic a little bit, but get him out in the open field into some space. That plays to his strengths the best and keeps him out of it where all the big boys are, you know, make someone miss in the open field.
They're trying to keep the drive going. This will be play number 8. It's 3rd and 2. Manning looking to throw on 3rd and 2. And he's got Will Tye complete. 4 yards on the play, and that leads to the 1st and goal.
I feel like Eli Manning has just gone from downfield bomber to a guy who can complete everything.
He can hit him underneath now, can't he?
Yeah, we just saw that there with that pass completion. The maturity of a veteran taking what the defense will give him.
That's caught at the 2. 7 yards, the pickup on the pitch and catch. They're going to hurry back to the line now.
That was a nicely run slant route, and what the receiver's trying to do is make the defender think he's going upfield for a deeper route and then breaks it off, usually after about 3 to 4 steps, and cuts towards the middle of the field. And now what he's trying to do is use his body to keep the defense.
Blitz coming, and down he goes. They're not going to kick it. A chip shot, but they're going for it down 3 on 4th down.
Whenever you see a team deciding to throw the ball on 3rd and 1, as a defensive player, my mindset is we've got them now, and that's why they...
And he's got it. Touchdown, Giants. Will Tye from 8 yards out, and the Giants have taken the lead.
4th and goal, and they found a way to throw it in the end zone for a touchdown.
And these defenses, they just like 3 downs, get off the field. But here they had to go 4, couldn't get it done.
A lot of the time, you're looking up and saying, okay, if I hold them for 3, at worst, I give up a field goal attempt. When they go for it, sometimes it really affects the defense because maybe they're not mentally prepared to go that 4th down.
Eli's going to throw, and that is caught for the 2 points. And the formula there on the 2-point try, they go 5 wide, not even the option to hand the ball off. They got it.
They tried to create space, and there isn't a whole lot of it there. For the defense, what you're trying to do is make sure that if they're going to catch the ball, make them catch it behind you because they run out of space with the back line. But in this case, the offense figured it out.
And they will not get a chance to return this one as it's through the end zone for a touchback. Okay, partners, New England comes out here to take the field on offense. This is such an interesting story, how they've been able to do it year after year after year. Guys talk about parity in the NFL. Well, New England has kind of transcended that parity, and they've done it with guys that you don't normally think of as household names.
The parts keep changing for New England. That's the amazing part. On offense, all right? Offensive linemen change, receivers change, running backs change. We know the one constant is Tom Brady, and that's a huge deal for them. But to be able to do it in what you call the parity times, and you're exactly right, everyone's supposed to be pretty equal. New England still a top 10 offense year in and year out. In 2016, they were number 4, and that helped them with a number 1 ranked defense as well. It's always tough for the guys throwing the football when they think they've got a completion and the ball's almost there, and then someone sneaks a hand or 2 in and back to the leg.
Brady going to try and throw on 3rd down. And he dropped it. Now it was tipped, altered the ball a little bit, but he dropped it, and now 4th down.
A good play on the ball, getting a hand on it, but it was tipped up in the air before falling incomplete. And that leads to way too many moments where bad things can happen for a defense and good things can happen for an offense. And this is tough to teach in today's football because everyone wants to make a highlight play. Tip it up in the air, grab it yourself, take it the other way. But sometimes that can backfire. How do you teach these guys to just make the good, solid, fundamental play of knocking it to the ground and not trying to make a highlight reel play that could backfire?
And nearly picked off there, almost intercepted. Instead, 2nd down. Let's look ahead for a quick minute. We don't have the schedules yet for next year, but what we do have are the 5 international games that will be played, 4 in London and then 1 again in Mexico, Jacksonville, Baltimore, Miami, New Orleans, Cleveland, Minnesota, Rams in Arizona, those in London, and then Mexico's going to get a great game. The Raiders and New England.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And just think about the ones in London. Remember, they're splitting them between the 2 different stadiums in London, so they get a different flavor in all of these places. In Mexico, for the 2nd straight year, the Raiders are coming to town. That should be a whole lot of fun.
Should be a ton of fun and a very good matchup. They'll get 19 yards there, and it gives the Pats a 1st down. Now hold everything here. We're going to get a timeout by the offense. So that means they're down to 1 remaining here as we head toward halftime. Throwing on 1st down is Brady. Into a double team, and it's intercepted. A great read, and it's picked off. And his guys have got it back at the closing stages of the 1st half. Now out come the Giants. And you got to think, if this is anything other than just taking a knee, I'd be very surprised.
Yeah, they've got enough to talk about at the half. Why do anything else? Just get out of there.
That's it for the 1st half. 2 more quarters to go. We'll have plenty more to see after the break.